Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I have yet another foundation review for you. This is not Pat McGrath. I wish it was, but I thought, hey, while I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for that one to come in, why not try out another one? That's one of the benefits of this is that, yeah, I have given this a try several times. I had a 13-hour wear test for you guys, and I wore this for the wear test on a 90% humidity day so that I could really put it through the ringer. And in case you guys are wondering which foundation I'm talking about, I am referring to the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-hour foundation. I feel like that's the new thing. All foundations must be 24-hour. Like, I get the long wear aspect of it, but who is wearing these things for 24 hours and let alone 36 hours on this one? Because when I picked this up, I immediately thought of this foundation right here from MAC, the Nourishing Pro Longwear Waterproof Foundation. As you can see, they're both in tubes, but luckily these are not the same. So in case anybody is wondering, I went ahead and immediately was like looking up the ingredients, and they are not the same. They don't feel the same. Nothing about them is the same. And this one originally had a 24-hour claim, and now it has a 36-hour claim. Like, who is doing this? Who's wearing them for 24 hours, let alone 36? But I'm going to get into the comparisons of these in case you're wondering later on. First, I'm going to go into the details and then the demo and then the wear test. So let me just read off the box here really quickly. This is what it came in. It says it's 24-hour full coverage, and they mean it. This is full coverage. A little goes a long way. When you first open up the cap, right here on the box, it says Studio Tip, a little goes a long way. That is very, very true. You've got to be careful with this. Otherwise, you are going to have a little bit of a cakey mess going on. And then it also says that kaolin clay with bamboo powder controls oil and shine. It's soft focus blurring effect with light scattering spheres, waterproof, just like this one right here, sweat and humidity resistant, and then it suggests using their photo finish primer. For the wear test, did not wear a primer, but I will talk about which primer I felt worked the best with this later on. Now I'm going to jump on the Sephora website just really quickly so I can give just a little bit more information than what was on the box. It says it won't look cakey or cause blemishes. I will say I've worn this several times and I have not had any breakouts from it, and that's amazing because sometimes full coverage foundations will break me out. The coverage is full, it's matte, it's liquid. It says it is for normal, dry, combination, and oily skin types. I feel like Sephora does that all the time. It's for everybody. All foundations are for everybody. This foundation also contains hyaluronic acid, which we all know helps to keep the skin hydrated. And then vitamin E protects against environmental aggressors. You are getting the standard 1 fluid ounce 30 mils of product for $36, and it comes in a variety of shades and definitely a variety of undertones. The shade I got is 2.18. I don't like their numbering system, but whatever. The skin tone is light to medium, and the undertone is neutral. Now let's go ahead and pop this on. I do not have a primer on the perimeter of my face, but as always, I am wearing a primer on my pores, and those are listed down below. I am applying this with my Sonia Kashuk sponge, and I'm telling you, I have to keep the sponge just a little bit more damp than I typically would. Like, I usually wring out my sponge pretty good. I left this one a little bit more damp than normal because this is matte, and it sets up pretty quickly. It is very full coverage. It looks very smooth, and it applies well as long as you apply it quickly. I would work in sections, like one side and then the other, and do your forehead. Do not dot this on your face and then try to work it out, especially if you have anything that is any type of dry anywhere on your face, because it's just harder to work it out unless you're using like a hydrating primer or something like that. After I get one layer of this, I'm telling you, you need a tiny little bit to get this to go a very long way. After I have one layer of this, you can see close up, everything's covered. This foundation is one of the fullest coverage foundations just like right off the bat that I have ever worn. The one downside that I have found with it is that it's a little harder to shear out. I find that when I try to shear it out, it can kind of get a little blotchy. So it's easier just to go in with just the one full layer. And that might just be my skin type. I am combo. I get oily on my T-zone pores, sometimes on my forehead and chin, and like right around my nose. And I can get some dry spots. Right now, my skin is a little dry right here, and I feel like it does accentuate it a little bit after I have set it. So initially, when I don't have anything set, you can see full coverage, everything's covered, everything is nice and smooth. And then I'm going to show you my starting point for the 13-hour wear test. This is freshly applied. I like the way that this looks. Everything looks really smooth. It's really pretty. It's definitely a makeup look, but it looks good. Now I will say that the sides of my cheeks and my top lip area looks a little dry to me, so I wasn't super excited about that initially, but then we're gonna move on to the 6-hour mark. At the 6-hour mark, I feel like it kind of sank into my skin just a little bit better. I feel like it looks it's still matte, but more of like a satin matte. It's not so dry. I feel like my cheek area looks better. I feel like my top of my lip looks better. Overall, it just looks better and everything is holding up. I think I took like a little mini nap and even laid my face on a pillow, so nothing moved. Absolutely nothing moved. Now I'm going to show you the 13-hour mark. You guys, this is impressive. Everything is still in place. Pores are still in check. Nothing has moved. I've only had a few little things here or there. So my nose, like on the side, especially right around like the crease, that has gotten a little shiny. I do have a little shine on my chin, and I did get a little bit of like, I don't know, separation or flaking on the top of my lip. I feel like that might not have been the foundation's fault though. I think that I might have had just like a dry spot that flaked off. I don't necessarily think that that's the foundation, because every other time that I've worn it, I haven't had that happen. So I would say that this is pretty much budge proof, but your oil will come through, but it takes a long time for that to happen. I could easily take a blotting sheet, a tissue, anything, and just dab away that oil and I would be completely fine. So for my thoughts on this, I definitely do not think that dry skin is going to like this, and combo is going to be iffy. If you're combo but lean more on the oily side, I think that you will like this. Oily, I think that you will like this. I would definitely suggest just taking a blotting sheet anywhere that you need to, because it's just not going to separate. It's not going to move around on you. It's very long lasting. I think oily and then normal are going to like this foundation, but I really would not suggest this for dry skin. This is very matte and it has a whole lot of coverage. So it has more coverage than what I usually like. I like a medium to full. So I like to be able to either shear it out if I want to or build it up if I need to. Typically though, I like one layer and I like a medium coverage foundation. This though, oh my goodness, if I wanted to cover up anything, I took this, I have like a little sun damage spot right here, gone. Absolutely gone. So if you wanted to use this for like a concealer or like random little spots, this will be perfect for it and it's not going to go anywhere. My other criticism is on the shade. I don't feel like this is a true neutral undertone. I know that whenever you guys saw me applying it looked darker. My body is pretty dark right now, so it matches, but I just don't think that it's neutral. I think it leans a little yellow, and I think a lot of companies are having trouble getting that true neutral undertone, so it's not just specific to this foundation. Primer-wise, for my skin, my normal primers definitely work for my pores. I don't have to change that up like ever for any foundation, but primers for the face, the TATCHA Silk Canvas and this, I just felt like this grabbed too much. I didn't really like that combo, but I absolutely loved it with this one right here. This is from by Terry and it's the Hyaluronic Hydra Primer. This combo I found to work the best, as well as the MAC Natural Radiance. Those both work really well for my skin type and this foundation. But if I'm going to compare these two, I have to say that I like this one better, only because it is not nearly as matte as this one. This one is more hydrating, and it's not like a super hydrating foundation. It's just something that is more hydrating than this one. The nourishing wording on this, when I was in MAC training, this came out, and the nourishing meant that it was hydrating. So between the two, this one has more coverage. It is way more matte, and I feel like they both last just as long, but this one's going to be better for oily skin. This one, I have an easier time shearing out if I want to. And again, it's not as matte. This one has more of a natural matte type of finish, it's natural satin. I would say natural satin, and once you set it, it's definitely matte. But ingredients and everything, they aren't the same. In case anybody is wondering about my MAC foundation color right now in comparison to this, I am about an NC30. My face is not, because I don't let my face get into the sun at all, but my body is. So when I'm wearing a foundation, it is typically a little bit darker. That's just a little tidbit of information for anybody that was wondering. Overall, I think this is a great foundation, but it's not one that I'm going to reach for a lot, just because it is very matte and it has a whole lot of coverage. So it's not something that I typically would reach for, but if it's something that you're interested in, then this is definitely for you. I just have to warn you, again, a little goes a long way. It can be cakey very quickly. It says that it won't get cakey, but it will if you apply too much. One layer is definitely full coverage. You do not need to go in for anything extra. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you plan on picking this up. If you've already tried it, what do you think? And I'll see you guys hopefully in my Pat McGrath video at some point. I don't know. And also today, as of like right now when I am filming this, it is my birthday, and I have been getting comments on my YouTube. I've seen them, but I haven't had time to respond because I'm trying to film before I head out. So I just want to thank everybody for all the birthday wishes, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.